A to the K.
A to the K.
A to the K. Hello, welcome to the A2theK Wrestling Show. We're here to talk AEW Revolution. Winner predictions, Anthony. Who's going to win?
All of them.
The end.
I tell you who's going to win. AEW is going to win.
The fans are going to win.
What's Tony going to announce? It could be something huge that affects all of this.
It could be. Isn't his big announcement tonight is going to be that there's an even bigger announcement live at the Revolution pay-per-view that you need.
He's going to announce the evolution of Revolution.
Exactly, and it's only applicable for the people who actually pay for the pay-per-view. It's almost like he just wants more people to buy their pay-per-view. Smart business, really.
Going to announce his announcement tonight.
Yes, I'm announcing that I'll be making an announcement of when my announcement will be.
All this is to be. We're renaming the pay-per-view. Damn it all!
Groundbreaking. But no, we've got a pretty decent match card. To be fair, it's kind of all fallen into place a little bit. I think the seeds were planted a little bit of time ago, and now we're starting to get the matches booked, if you will.
Have I pre-predicted any of this?
No, neither of us.
Good,
neither of us.
Because I honestly won't remember.
Good. We're going to do it off the fly. I think so.
Yeah.
We'll kick it off with the first match to talk about now. This will be somewhat tricky because we are predicting this before we know who's in the match.
It'll make for some wild choices, I love it.
Well, exactly. So the first one we're going to talk about is the AEW World Tag Team Championships on the line in a triple threat. Is it a tornado tag, maybe? I can't remember.
I'll go with tornado. I like it.
But it's a triple threat, and it's going to be obviously the defending Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus taking on the winners of the first Battle Royal, reDragon, and we'll also be taking on the winners of the Casino Tag Battle Royal, which takes place tonight. So 3 teams, 1 team is TBC at this time.
Who's TBC?
You're not heard of them?
Well, I'll throw my prediction out. It's going to be the Hardy Boys.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Not Jeff and Matt, the detectives from the Novel series.
Okay, I like it.
I
think it's going to be the Bucks. I think Young Bucks are going to...
See, what I'd be disappointed with the Young Bucks, which, by the way, I think is a boss shout, is that it'll become about the Young Bucks and reDragon, and the tag champs themselves are going to play a bit part in their own fucking match.
Well, yes, that's exactly what I think is going to happen, unfortunately. Now, I'm very much on the fence in terms of whether or not they're going to retain. I don't think they are
You're on the fence so much your ass has got splinters.
I like that. But... yeah, I don't actually know whether they're going to retain. I don't think Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus were ever intended to be, long reigning champions. I think they were kind of transitional champs. But that being said, I don't know whether something's going to happen here. If the Bucks are the ones who win the Battle Royal, which is my prediction, I think something's going to happen between the Bucks and reDragon. But it's whether or not it actually impacts both teams from winning, and then that sets up something. Or whether one of them wins, but then the other ones are like, well, no, fuck you, we should have won. And then that starts something. So that's where I'm kind of at with it. But I think I'm going to give it to reDragon. I don't want them to win at all because I don't like them.
Oh, I'm going to go with your theory, and I'm going to give it to the Bucks.
Okay.
Just because I really don't want reDragon to win. And I'm going to lose a point on this. Just out of spite, because I don't want them to win. Well,
exactly, and it's also worth noting as well that these aren't going to be our final predictions for the prediction series because we haven't got a final match card yet. So once we get the final match card, that'll be going out on Instagram, and so these predictions may change. But as it stands right now,
on the day of the pay-per-view, because of Tony Khan.
Yes. It's not the easiest to get these bloody graphics and know what's happening. Unfortunately, AEW sort your shit out. Sure, you shit out.
If you do a prediction series here, you can consider it.
Exactly. God. So yeah, so what are we saying then? You're gonna say the Bucks are gonna
I'll
win
go
it?
with your. I reckon the Bucks are a good show. Even though I threw the Hardy Boys out there, that's probably unlikely at such short notice. But yeah, I'm gonna go with your theory. It's gonna be the Bucks, but I'm gonna call it that the Bucks actually win as well.
Okay, I will. I think the other team's gonna be the Bucks, but I'm gonna go with reDragon. Which I really don't want it to be them. So I'm hoping I'm going to change my mind. I'm so hoping something's going to happen tonight on Dynamite that's going to make me think, nah. But we'll see. So that's match 1. Match 2, we're going to talk about, well, look, Matt Hardy's in a match, Anthony, so that would make the Hardy Boys one difficult. But, or will it? So the match itself is Matt Hardy, Andrade, and Isiah Kassidy taking on Sammy Guevara, Darby Allin, and Sting. Now,
yep, this made sense, this whole thing. Yep.
Yeah, now. Do you think, and no offense to the guy because he's really talented, but do you think Isiah Kassidy feels a little bit out of place in this one? Because part of me was thinking, well, if they get Jeff out of contract, would it make sense to stick Jeff in here? And we finally get Jeff and Sting in a ring together after what happened last time at Victory Road, where he was absolutely off his tits.
Maybe I'm looking at it though, right? And you go, okay, so we've got like a legend on each team. We've got a talented guy on each team. And then we've got a third guy on each team, so that's good, isn't it? I think they balanced that really well.
You're a terrible person. And if anyone who doesn't know, Anthony doesn't like Darby.
I'm nothing against Darby.
Yeah, you say this every time while holding many
I'm more
things against
impressed
him.
with Darby's accolades outside of the ring at the moment. The fact that he was ever with Gigi Dolan or Priscilla Kelly, as she was at the time, it is just, that's more impressive than anything he's done in AEW. Fair play to you, Darby.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, so this does feel like a very strange matchup, doesn't it? Especially with Isiah Kassidy in the mix. Just does feel a bit random. So yeah, initially I was thinking, well, maybe Jeff will be added to this one, something will happen to make that happen, but I don't actually think we'll be that lucky.
I mean, as far as predictions go, Carl, I'll throw mine out first because I'm being selfish and jumping the gun while you're trying to talk. I'm going to say,
standard,
just because Sting's a legend and it's Sting, I'm gonna give the win to Sting, Sammy, and Darby.
Do you know what, Anthony? I think that's a really good shout because I'm going to do the same. I also think that this could be the start of Andrade and Matt Hardy's fallout. Now, if it's to be believed that Jeff will make his way to AEW eventually, once he's walked there and he, managed to get there, then I do believe that something's going to happen here with the AHFO, where Matt Hardy will no longer be a part of that, and Andrade is going to basically usurp him out of that. So I think this will be the catalyst for that to happen. Maybe he's already paid off Isiah Kassidy or something, and they're all going to turn on Matt at the end. The
whole concept of putting HFO and Andrade's team together was just a bit mad anyway. I know it ends up just being Andrade, but it's like, what is going on here?
I mean, it's worth noting, I've not been a massive fan of this at all. Like, this whole thing about, like, Andrade wanting to buy Darby Allin to be his, like, lackey for some reason, but then also is now taking control of the HFO. Like, why? Why does he want any of this to happen? Like, why doesn't he just come out and try and win the title?
Well, that's the thing. Let's not be too picky about kayfabe here, but why would you try and buy Darby? No, I'm not even having a go. But what I mean is, like, Darby as a character is like, would you ever expect him to say yes?
I know. Yeah.
What would be the point in trying? He is notoriously a rebel. So
exactly.
It'd make more sense if you tried to go for someone you thought you could manipulate and make your lackey. That was never going to happen. So I know kayfabe and all that bollocks. Just go with the story, see what happens. But it just doesn't, like, from a storyline point of view, it's like, why would you try and get that? Like, he's probably more likely to say no than Sammy, in all fairness. So why would you pick him out of the two?
Yeah, to be fair, because at least Sammy's bloody been in a faction. So
exactly.
And basically Sting's just got his.
And there's you thinking I was going to have a pop about Darby Allin. I went. I'm sure he'd be a great lackey, but that's not what I was getting at.
Terrible person. So we're both saying the winning team is going to be Sammy, Darby, and Sting.
Well, I think it's Sting, just Sting in general. I think he's probably going to stack them all on top of each other and make them all submit at the same time again, just like he did with 2.0.
Nice.
It's Sting. Fuck it. He's just going to win everything.
I'm down for seeing that, to be fair. So the next one to talk about, we've got Eddie Kingston taking on Chris Jericho.
This is a difficult one.
This is a difficult one. So I'll let you know where my head's at first with this, Anthony. I think... You sit down and listen. So we had something very similar with Kingston and Punk, didn't we? Which obviously resulted in Punk coming away with the win at the end of it. I think Kingston needs this win. I think he's lost too many, especially at like the pay-per-views and stuff like that, like the big blow-off feuds, and like that's what this is all kind of hinging on, isn't it? Is that Jericho said like you can never win the big one. So I think Jericho's the kind of guy who'll let Eddie go over, based on that, to kind of maybe give him a little bit of a push that he's not really had in AEW as such. He's always been the guy who is in the mix but always comes up short. So maybe this is going to be the moment for
by all accounts, he's not that tall.
So yeah, I think it's going to be a good match, and I think Eddie Kingston's going to take it, Anthony.
I couldn't agree with you more. Those would have been exactly my points, mate. I think, like you say, Eddie definitely needs the win here. I think it'll be an absolute travesty if Jericho wins, because it's way too many losses for Eddie Kingston at this point. And as you say, there's no harm in Jericho putting him over, and he's the right type of guy to do it, and very likely the type of guy to do it. He's always been good at pushing new talent. So it just feels almost perfect.
Yeah.
For that to be the situation. So I'd have to agree with you. I'm going to give it to Eddie. I'm a little bit apprehensive whether that's going to be the case, but he definitely needs it.
Yeah, definitely. I think I'm interested to see where both of their career trajectory goes from here now as well, because obviously we haven't got full closure on the Inner Circle, but it seems like Proud and Powerful are somewhat siding with Kingston at the moment. You've got Sammy just sort of floating around, and Jake Hager's kind of there with Jericho still, like he teamed with him the other week, but I think the Inner Circle's pretty much dead. So what's next for the influencer, as he's calling himself now, Jericho? Who's he going after next?
Jericho will be more than fine. He might even just take a little break. But the one that worries me when you talk about the Inner Circle sort of not being a thing anymore is Hager seems the most directionless, if you ask me.
Yeah.
Which is a shame.
I agree. He needs that faction to be there. It's like the silent dude, just does something funny every now and again. Yeah. So if he hasn't got that, what's he got? Because he's never been the greatest talker, has he? So
no. So I'm more worried about him. Jericho he'll segue into something that you probably won't even expect, because he's always been quite good at like suddenly starting something, a new trend or a new storyline or gimmick in some way. So whilst I can't see anything in the immediate future for Jericho, I don't think there's any worries there. But I do. I'm like, what's Hager going to move on to? Like that's a real concern.
It is
concerned.
Indeed.
I'm concerned.
So both saying Eddie Kingston taking this one. Mm-hmm. Perfect. So the next one is an interesting one, Anthony.
I'll answer this one.
Go on.
No,
TBS Championship. Give me your thoughts. Jade Cargill, Conti.
Honestly, this is not a lot of talking for me, mate. I think Jade's not had the title long enough to suffer the loss just yet. I think they're going to go for a nice, simple. It's going to be a good match between the two. I wouldn't say this is probably going to be either of their best matches, like as far as their history in AEW, but it's going to be a good, solid match. But I think Jade's going to walk out with the win and further solidify her position as TBS champ.
Now you see, I agreed with 99% of everything you said, except I think this has the potential to be Jade's best match. Now, up to this point, the best match Jade has had has been with Anna Jay, I think. So, obviously, with Conti being so close with Anna Jay and kind of working stylistically together, I think we could see something similar here. But obviously, Ty has got a little bit more experience and has really kind of developed and stepped on her wrestling.
I'm intrigued by one thing, though.
Go on.
Because I can get on board with that. I take your point that maybe I'm not giving it the credit it deserves, and this could be Jade's best match. I notice you never credited it as potentially being Ty's best match. I assume you don't consider it to be her best match.
No, I think she's going to do the job to get Jade's kind of up to upper level in the match. Yeah. But I think to do that, Ty will have to kind of come down a little bit. Like, obviously, the stuff Ty's done with the likes of Britt Baker and people like that, I think is going to outshine what this will end up being. But I think for Jade...
So the job there will be get Jade over, sort of thing.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a really tough test for Jade as well. Obviously, it's it's a very legitimate challenger for her as well. So I think it's...
I really look forward to this match, though.
Yeah.
Jade's definitely got something. I know a lot of people like to rag on her wrestling ability, but she's definitely got something.
Yeah, and it just shows again, doesn't it? Having a secondary women's title it is a really good idea. So I think
there are no secondary titles, Carl. I do this every time you say it. There are no secondary titles, Carl.
Yes, there are, and this is it. Even though it's bigger than the main prize, so I don't really get that. But anywho, so yeah, are we both in agreement? Jade Cargill's retaining in what will be her probably best match to date.
Yes, I would agree.
Okay. So the next one to talk about, and again, this one gets tricky. Shut up. So this is the for what is it? The for the No, what is it? For the revival FTR? What? Face of the Revolution? That's it. The Face of the Revolution ladder match.
What's it? Just forget the revival, wasn't it?
I don't fucking know. Isn't it fuck the revival? Who knows? But so. Yeah, we got the Revolution ladder match coming up, and what started out as a bit of a hoss fest. You know, the first announced competitors were Keith Lee, Powerhouse Hobbs, Wardlow.
You'll just say, like, "Oh yes."
Yeah, I was excited, big meaty men slapping meat, but since then we've added Ricky Starks and Orange Cassidy to the mix, so it's less meat to be slapped, unfortunately. But there's still a participant who has not been announced yet, so I don't believe, unless the card has changed ahead of this, that there's any plans to crown that final competitor in, like before the event. So maybe it's going to be some kind of surprise or wild card, potentially. Yeah. But based on what we know, the 5 competitors we know of Wardlow, Keith Lee, Powerhouse Hobbs, Ricky Starks, and Orange Cassidy. I think Keith Lee wins this. I think he has to.
I'm with you on this. I think it's the momentum he's coming with. I think Keith Lee is the right person to win. One comment I would make, unrelated to the winner, is Orange Cassidy really sticks out to me as an odd choice here. Like in his latest sort of stuff he's been doing, he's been more in a comedy sense with Danhausen and the like. If you look at every other person in here, it's like, why is Orange there? Like, or I feel like what worries me about it is Orange Cassidy's there, so I imagine there's going to be some Danhausen shenanigans, and I kind of don't want any of that for this ladder match.
No,
there's a place for it. I'm not one of these people who just hates them because the gimmick is it's strange and different to me, and I don't like it. I'm not one of those people, right? I just don't think it has a place in this ladder match, and the fact that Cassidy's in here makes me think there's going to be some Danhausen like shenanigans here.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we will get something like that. Whether it's he'll definitely make an appearance, put it that way. But the more I'm thinking about this, actually, I don't know whether to change my mind. I'm actually on the fence between 2 of them. So we've got Keith Lee, who it just makes sense that it would be him because he's just joined, and you'd probably want to stick a rocket up his ass, to give him that TNT title match. But part of me thinks Wardlow as well. Now, whatever happens with Punk and MJF, which we'll come on to in a minute. There's still got to be... It's still leading up to this thing with MJF and Wardlow, and obviously Sean Spears has been a thorn in the side of Wardlow for the past few weeks. So either he's going to get involved and cost him it, or, be the reason why he doesn't win, something like that. Or Wardlow actually goes ahead and wins the thing, but then MJF uses his kind of sense of entitlement to say, well, I pay you, so it's actually my TNT title shot. And that's what leads to the MJF and Wardlow fallout.
I think I like the way you think, and that is definitely a feasible thing. I think if they give Keith Lee the win, they can still have something happen with the Wardlow scenario to further that feud. So you execute 2 things, don't you? You give Keith Lee the push, and you have a title shot going on there, and you still get to the Wardlow versus probably, like you say, Spears, then MJF. So it almost feels like a waste if you give Wardlow the win, because then you're cutting out. You're condensing it all into one story when you could split it into 2,
Yeah, no, it's a good shout. I definitely think it's going to be one of them 2. But
sadly, no offense to Hobbs or Starks.
I know, yeah.
I laughed at that, but honestly, I think, and again, no offense to Hobbs when I say this one, Ricky Starks, I think, could be a great shout for a dark horse win. You hear? Like, I think he could do a lot with the win, and people wouldn't expect it. I don't think they're going to do it. But I wouldn't be pissed off if Starks won. No,
he feels like he's on the cusp of being like a bit of a breakout star, doesn't he? I think It'd be good if he got away from Team Taz. Unfortunately, something might happen here between Powerhouse and Starks to kind of
maybe.
set something up for that potentially. But just to be different to you, and I'm sure my opinion might change by the time Sunday rolls around. But I'll go with Wardlow and see whether that sets up the whole thing with MJF.
You're a madman. Yeah, we'll see who the last guy is. Any predictions on the last guy?
That's a good point. I don't know, to be fair. Like, if they don't announce it, you've got to imagine it's going to be potentially a new signing or something, or a surprise guest.
It could be this big, major, super new announcement that we haven't had yet.
It could be.
Or we just go with people have been doing for months. It's going to be Bray Wyatt.
Well, yeah. I think, though, normally they save the surprise entrance for the Double or Nothing, don't they? They have, like, the Joker and stuff like that. So
to be fair, yeah. Plus, like,
normally.
This one kind of has like a bit of a sour thing to it, doesn't it? Because if you have the surprise entrance and then they don't win, then you're disappointed. But if they do win, then they're straight into a TNT title shot. So it's like, I don't know. Like,
it wouldn't surprise me if
someone in with this.
Maybe it was someone like Penta or something. Someone who just at this moment in time isn't going to be on the card. He's obviously just had a bit of a gimmick week. Maybe do something like that. But yeah, interesting one. But just to be controversial, I'm sure it'll change. I'll say Wardlow, and I think that'll set up the MJF thing down the line.
Cool. I like it.
Okay. So the next one to talk about, Anthony, John Moxley and Bryan Danielson. This is a doozy.
It's a difficult one as well. I still don't know. I might not even know till the end of our conversation who I want to win this one, if I'm honest with you. Not the ones who I think's going to win. I can't predict either. It's difficult. I definitely want this match. And I honestly, it's a weird scenario where I wouldn't be upset with either of these people winning. But who's logically going to win?
I think that's the kind of difficult thing with it, isn't it? Because we don't know which way the storyline's going to go. You would think if Moxley picks up the win, he'll probably just go, okay, so I fought, yeah, but nah, I'm not going to join your team. And then, like, like, you son of a bitch kind of thing. Or if Danielson beats him, then Moxley might just be like, alright then, fine, I'll join your team. Or it could be the complete polar opposite. It could be that Danielson beats him and he goes, you may beat me, but I'm still not joining your team, and then hits him with the fucking DDT or something, So,
part of me is wondering, like, do we get a Moxley win? And then Moxley does, like you say, we fought, we can work together, but it doesn't sit well with Danielson. And he almost feels undermined because, like, he's got this guy in his team who's beat him and thinks he's something, and they can't sort of carry on maybe to some sort of rematch. Yeah, because it just doesn't sit well with him, Do
you know what though? It's so tough, this one as well, because Danielson's just coming off a loss, obviously to Hangman, and Moxley has been away for so long. He's come back, and he hasn't really lost since. So is it like, who loses here? Do you have Danielson lose 2 in a row, or do you finally give Moxley a loss since he's come back?
That's the thing. It is difficult unless they give Moxley a loss because Danielson never had designs on them being a team and there's shenanigans involved or other people involved.
Maybe.
It's kind of Healy stuff to do, I suppose. It's I don't know.
And another time limit draw.
Don't know. Can you imagine? I'm struggling. I don't even know who I think was going to win. I might. Sorry about that. I might say Moxley, to be honest with you. It's a tough choice. It really is, but I'm leaning towards Moxley.
Yeah, I think I am as well. I just don't think they'll have him lose here. Unfortunately, I think they'll have him win, but then you'll like consider the challenge. And then maybe Danielson will be like, "Well, no, you beat me, so I don't want you in the team anyway." And like as you said, turn on him. Maybe he's already got some other people lined up for who his team's going to be. So
yeah,
Moxley win. Let's go with that.
Moxley.
On to the next one then. So dog collar match, CM Punk and MJF. Obviously MJF beat Punk in Chicago, holds a victory over him. But as we know, the Diamond Ring was involved in helping him secure that win. This time, dog collar match, no place to run, no place to hide. So what do we do? What do we do with this? Do we give... do we hand MJF a loss? Like, it's fair to
I'm quite resolute in what I want. I don't know if this will necessarily be the case. I definitely want MJF to win twice decisively. I feel like they're probably going to try and balance the books a little bit and have Punk take a win as well, but I don't want that at all. I want MJF to beat him. I don't know how you feel about it, but that's what I want. I don't know if that's what will happen, but that's what I want.
Yeah, I completely agree. I don't think it's going to happen, unfortunately, but that's what I would love to happen. I mean, I suppose if MJF beats him, then he can walk away and be like, okay, this time I did beat you properly, blah blah blah, and then that would give him a reason to then steal, Wardlow's TNT title opportunity or whatever if he won the ladder match and set something up there. It also frees him up from Punk for a bit so that he can move into the Wardlow thing. I guess it's how quickly they want to move into that, I suppose. So
yeah.
Otherwise, you're going to have CM Punk go over, and then you're going to have the rubber match, aren't you? There needs to be a decider. And then you're still going to play into this for a little bit longer. So I'd love it if MJF won.
I'm kind of like, this has been great, and I'm not knocking it at all. I'm kind of done with it. I want this to be the last match between them. Yeah. And because of that, I need it to be MJF to win as well. Like, if they went to like, oh, now we need to decide that, I'd feel like it was overdone at that point, if I'm honest.
Yeah. Maybe they wouldn't even move to a decider. Maybe they'd have, because technically it's one each, even though MJF had to cheat to get there, but maybe he'll just move on from that and consider it a tie or something. But it's like, that's what I love about this card, is it's so difficult to actually predict. I think when we had Elimination Chamber, for example, the majority of them were so easy. The
hardest ones were the chambers themselves, but for the most, you're like, well, obviously they're going to win, and obviously they're going to win.
Exactly. I think we got one wrong, and that was because they changed the bloody storyline on us. At the beginning. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go. I think Punk's gonna win, even though I want MJF.
Oh, madness!
What do you think?
What a madness!
MJF.
I'll go with my heart, and I'll go with MJF. Again, that's probably more what I want to happen rather than what I think's gonna happen. But again, this is another really tough one to call.
Yeah, definitely.
But I'll go MJF just to be different.
See, it could all work nicely though, couldn't it? Like with this whole thing where he was pretending to be upset or whatever. Like if he does screw him over off the back of that, then he's still technically, it's not the cleanest of wins because he's technically cheated him, but he's still. I so hope it's MJF, but I'll go with Punk for now. Let's see what happens tonight.
You can very much picture a scenario where they have an absolute hell of a match. Punk wins. Punk goes to offer the handshake because of that heartfelt promo previously. And MJF, I don't know, low blows him or some shit. Or hits him with the diamond ring again, and they keep the feud going. You could see that happening.
Yeah, something's definitely going to still carry on there off the back of that. But yeah, exciting. Let's see what happens. And then the penultimate match, we've got the AEW Women's Championship on the line, Anthony. We've got Dr. Britt Baker, D.M.D, taking on La Mera Mera herself, Thunder Rosa. New champion?
Yes.
Yes.
I'm not even slightly undecided about this. It's time. Thunder is the most badass women's wrestler on the fucking planet. Britt Baker's had a really good run with the title, but I think it's time for Thunder to take the crown.
I think you're right. Britt's had it for ages now, hasn't she? I think Thunder Rosa is a very legitimate person to lose it to. They've got so much history there. They've put on fantastic matches together. I think
that's the thing, isn't it? That their rivalry it's gone around. It's not been in your face, but they've been here, and she's not won it. But I think this is the moment. This is puts the finishing touch on this rivalry.
Yeah, and I think it'll open up some nice things as well with Britt, because I think something might happen with her and Jamie Hayter, maybe have a bit of a falling out there at some point, and I don't think that'll be over the title. So, I think it makes it's like logical sense, isn't it, to kind of do this. And then who knows, maybe we'll end up getting the likes of Serena Deeb and Thunder Rosa and stuff like that down the line, which obviously we know they've got history there as well. So, I think it's time. Thunder Rosa, AEW Women's Champ. Let's make it happen. Let's do it.
Indeed. We both totally agree on that. I love it. Thunder, just the best in it.
She is. I love Britt as well, but I definitely think it's time for a bit of a shake-up. Because Because I don't want Britt to become stale either with what she's doing. So it'll be nice to see her actually have a loss, lose a belt, and see how that affects her. Be good character development, I think. Which leads us to the main event, Anthony. We've got Hangman, Adam Page taking on Adam Cole, the Battle of the Adams.
Yeah. Adam and Adam. Hangman Adam Page versus the man who puts the D in D.M.D.
How's that not a thing before? That should be a thing. That should totally be the thing.
I shouldn't be one of them guys. I even laughed at my own joke before I finished it.
Oh, if only we could steal people's likenesses for t-shirts, then that's definitely a t-shirt right there. Damn, that's so good.
Trouble is, it'd be a shirt he could wear, but I'm not sure she'd be thrilled about other people wearing it.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's why it's doubly funny. Imagine that going up for sale on PWTs, everybody buying it. I put the D in D.M.D. Yeah.
Anyway, honestly, for me, I'd be very disappointed if Hangman doesn't keep the title.
Same. I think it's good that Adam Cole is on this level to be challenging for the title. I think it shows that he's being, he's not being overlooked or whatever. He is seen as a main event player, but I just think it's too soon for Hangman to lose the belt. He's had such a long story arc with it. I think I would be a bit disappointed if he lost it so soon. But yeah, I honestly don't know where kind of Adam Cole goes next after this. I imagine it's going to be something to do with the Bucks and reDragon kind of stuff and having to pick one and things like that. So he's got stuff to do. I don't think he needs to be the champion. Yeah, I mean, he's still going to put the D in D.M.D, so keep him occupied, open wide. So, yeah.
But no, it's one of them. Like you say, Adam Cole, he's got plenty going on with these factions and all this. I don't know, he's just such a popular guy, and he's in the Undisputed Dragons or whatever, and he's part of the Elite Bucks. There's all sorts going on, and then Tama Tonga's going to rock up, and all that's going to happen. So, yeah, if it's not Adam Page, I'm going to be really disappointed for his title run, because I feel like he needs a longer time with it anyway. I think he's killing it as the champ at the moment. I feel like the 3 champs we've had, and you've said this before, so I'm paraphrasing you here when I say this, but we've had the perfect sort of blend of different champions, and we've had the veteran winning, then we've had Mox, who's I don't even know how to classify him. He was the big deal at the time, and you've had Hangman, who's sort of come up in the business. I think it's brilliant that's how it's kind of gone. Obviously Omega's in there somewhere, but I didn't know where to fit him, so fuck it. But I don't know, it's for me, I feel like we've seen this story build up into him. For him to lose it to, no offense, but to lose it to Adam Cole, just be a really shit end to that story, wouldn't it?
I love that you said that. To lose it to Adam Cole.
No, I'm not I know disrespect to Adam Cole, but he's come into it. He hasn't really done a lot in AEW just yet, and I get that people think he's a big deal because of what he's done on the Indies and what he's done in WWE. But for the story of Hangman Page, who has sort of basically since day one been destined to be the champ in AEW, it just seems like a strange end to lose to Adam Cole all of a sudden.
You're right.
For me, this is probably the most predictable match of the night because of that.
Yeah, I hope we're right, to be fair, but yeah, I agree. I think he showed that he can beat the shit out of Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, convincingly. So if he then goes on to lose it to Adam Cole, it's not the best look in that sense. So
my question is, are we going to get a straight match here, or are we going to get shenanigans galore? Are we going to get Bucks? Are we going to get Dragons? Are we going to get Gorillas of Destiny? Are we going to get the Switchblade guy? What's going to happen here? Because they're all obviously part of it.
Dark Order still involved.
Dark Order shenanigans. I feel I don't want it, but I feel like there could be a lot of shenanigans here.
Yeah, I hope not. To be fair, it'd be nice to see.
I hope that Gorillas of Destiny rock up.
Well, you would do because you're a big Tama Tonga mark, aren't you?
Of course. It's all been on Impact. I don't know why they're coming to AEW, but I fucking want it. It's going to happen.
Yeah. No, I think Hangman Page definitely retains in this one. I don't even know who his next opponent's going to be. Like, there's so many options now, which is a good thing. But yeah, I don't know who's next. Like, if you put him up against Punk next, then that's a big,
like that. Yeah.
It's a big meaty feud, isn't it, to build towards? So
it's mad because you could go, well, if Punk beats MJF, then he could be a world title contender. He's had a hell of a streak. He'd definitely be up there in the rankings. But at the same time, we want him to go towards Wardlow and have that feud. That's just storytelling. So
well, exactly.
I don't want that yet. But
yeah,
MJF is definitely a world title contender.
Yeah, I mean, it's mad that he's never held a belt. Yeah, MJF. Like, I know he's at the Diamond Ring, but you think, give him the TNT title and stuff. But I imagine it's
2 Diamond Rings at this point.
3, I think. 3 times. Yeah. Back to back winner, I think. But
like Mr. T soon, isn't he?
He pities them fools. But yeah, I think we both agreed. Hangman Page to retain, rounding out a fantastic card on paper. Let's see whether it delivers.
Fantastic card on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Goddamn right.
So that was our AEW Revolution winner predictions. Do you disagree? Do you agree? Let us know either in the comments or on our socials. Obviously, always keen to hear what the rest of you think ahead of time. Obviously, we'll be doing our prediction series, as we always do, for the pay-per-views and premium live events. So make sure you check them out on our Instagram stories as well in the next day or two. And vote for who you think's going to win, because you got a chance to win. You got a chance to win gift cards. You got a chance to win a T-shirt at the end of it. It's going to be fun for all. But yeah, another fun-filled week, Anthony. We've talked the news. We've talked what's happened this week in wrestling, and now we've just given our predictions for AEW Revolution, which takes place on Sunday. And I suppose it's only right to round off like we always do, by telling everybody that if they're watching this, you should go and listen to it on all the audio platforms. If you listen to this, come look at our beautiful places. Look at our beautiful places. Come to my house. And don't come to my house, please. But yeah, you can check us out on YouTube. Obviously, we're on all the socials. 17k on TikTok now. Look at that, growing, growing by the
growing
day.
Strong.
Obviously, Instagram as well. We're on Twitter and sometimes on Facebook, but you can find us anywhere.
On Facebook.
And you know where else you can find us? This April, we will be at For the Love of Wrestling, Europe's largest wrestling convention. We're going to be seeing the likes of Sting. We're going to be seeing the likes of Bray Wyatt, Mickey James, Trish Stratus, the Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle, and many more.
Dad.
Yeah, we've got quite a few people that we're going to be meeting there. Obviously, we get to see Georgia Smith, who we've had on the show before, Lanny Poffo. But nice to see him in person as well. So, yeah, it's going to be good. And if you want to find out more about it and you want to get yourself down there, we're going to play a little clip now where you can find out all about it. And until next week, we will say bye.
Bye.
For Love of Wrestling, Europe's largest wrestling convention, returns to the Exhibition Centre in Liverpool on the 23rd and 24th of April. Guests this year include Diva of the Decade, Trish Stratus, the Wrestling God, JBL, the Dudley Boys, Torrie Wilson, and just announced MJF from AEW. We will also be doing a Wyatt family reunion as we welcome Eric Rowan, the man formerly known as Braun Strowman, and indeed the Fiend Bray Wyatt. Also just announced is the man, the legend, the icon, Sting, and of course your Olympic gold medalist Kurt Angle. This and many more guests, as well as prop builds, Q&As with all of the wrestlers, and some of the biggest wrestling collections in the world on display from our exhibitors. Get your tickets at forloveofwrestling.co.uk or search Facebook or Twitter for the Love of Wrestling. For the Love of Wrestling, Europe's biggest wrestling convention, returns to Liverpool the 23rd and the 24th.
This is Griff Garrison, and you're listening to A to the K.
A to the K. A to the K.
A to the K.